The government's brought back this bill, the anti-vilification bill today. There's one of 4 outcomes that I could see that's happened this week. So far, we don't know of any deals that have happened. The first thing that could happen is that the government's done a deal with the Liberal Party. If that's the case, then the Liberal Party's sold out the values of liberalism that they're meant to be founded on. The second possibility is that they've done a deal, or they're in the process of doing a deal with the Greens. In that case, unlike the New South Wales Greens that recently heavily opposed this sort of laws in New South Wales, the Greens would be selling out their constituents who will likely be the first targets of this. Everyone knows that the first targets of this would likely be Palestinian protesters that the Greens claim to support. The third outcome is that the government hasn't actually got a deal and can't come to a deal, and they end up shelving it. And the final possibility here is that the government actually can't get anything through and it goes to a vote and it fails. I think, of course, I'd prefer that to happen. But what we're seeing in Victoria, the government has no credibility on being able to legislate away hate. What they've done with the Nazi salute laws actually backfired spectacularly. The Attorney General herself said that she hoped that these laws would never be used, that they would be a deterrent. What we actually found is that within hours of the laws coming into effect, we had the first arrest. The same thing will happen if these laws go through. If anyone thinks that neo-Nazis and Islamic extremists will be deterred by these laws, they've got it totally wrong. In fact, they see these laws as an opportunity to point out the hypocrisy of the government and to provide a platform for their abhorrent views.
I guess, what are you worried about when it comes to the Greens? Do you think that, some of what they're pushing, the government might be open to? Especially when it comes to the public interest defence.
Yeah, look, I think that if any deal is made between the government and the Greens, the bill can only get worse. We've seen in the past when the Greens do these deals, the Greens have been on a long lurch towards authoritarianism for a long time now. We can't see that the Greens will be making any sort of deal that will make this more liberal and more free. It'll actually make it worse. Anything that they're pushing for are things that the government was not willing to go for initially, and therefore the government's desperate now and they're doing deals with the Greens, potentially to make things even worse.
Do you think it's more likely than not that the bill just gets dumped? Or do you think it's more likely that they have a deal with the Greens?
Don't know at this point. I think it's still in flux. My understanding is that there's still negotiations been happening. That any sort of change that happens at this point doesn't have the proper scrutiny of Parliament, because no one's been told what these things are, so it's all rushed through at the last minute. These are really serious laws that they're trying to bring in, and the idea that they'll just rush through these amendments just to get it through is quite abhorrent. None of the constituents that the government claims to have been consulting with would have been consulted about whatever the government is negotiating on at the moment. So I think it'll be a shock, not only to the people of Victoria, but also the people that were pushing the government to go forward with these laws. Maybe they won't get what they were hoping for in the first place.